Hello, hello, my loves. How are you? Welcome back. Jamie here. You guys, welcome to Gatekeeper Part 2, Part Dos. So excited to have you guys here. This is by far, this whole course I love and adore. It's super dear to my heart, obviously. I've been coaching women on it for quite some time, and it has brought many successes amongst my own success of my own, getting me from where I was, struggling, doubting, frustrated to the successes that I've been able to have in my life, and so many others as well. So I'm super excited for you to be here still. Congratulations. A lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people quit, and they're like, as soon as they realize, oh, we're going to deal with some of our crap, they're out the door, man. But I encourage you, congratulate you that you're still here, and I encourage you to stick with it, because today is going to be really awesome. We're really going to, I think, give you some amazing aha moments and some really good tools, skill sets and tools to have you realize that wherever you're struggling in life, so say that you are really struggling with stress, or you're really struggling with overwhelm, or in your career, your relationships, or dieting, losing weight, maybe financially you're struggling. This is going to be awesome, because I think this is going to give you some really good tool sets of what is happening, why it's causing that, and then we're going to dig deep into how to turn that around and fix it for you. So stay tuned, stay in there, get that pen and paper ready, get ready to dive in, be ready to be a little bit vulnerable and be honest with yourself, and we're gonna get some amazing accomplishments done. So, all right, you guys, so we're gonna start, so let's recap a little bit. So Gatekeeper Part 1, what we talked about yesterday, or whenever it was that you listened to it. We talked about the reticular activating system, and that's that band actually scientifically in our mind that helps us, it directs on where we focus. Okay, we also talked about the race car driver, how they're trained to turn their head, to focus and turn their head where they want to go, not into the screaming, the wall that's screaming at them, right? They turn their head into where they focus, okay? We also talked about our Google-like mind that is super powerful, actually even more powerful than Google, because it is in our mind, in our body. It has our benefits in the forefront. It wants to protect us. It wants to guide us and lead us. It wants to answer whatever question it is that we put in there with an A. It wants to answer it quickly. It wants to get it correct. So our mind searches. When we think of something or we ask ourselves a question, our mind says, what do I know about this? Okay, what do I know about this? Interesting enough, though, most of the time this is on autopilot. We're not even consciously thinking that this is going on. We're doing it subconsciously, like we're blinking, our heart is beating, all of this stuff happens, and our body just does it. We don't have to actually tell it to do it, right? So what's interesting, though, is most of us run around and this is on autopilot. But what we're gonna do today is we're gonna teach you how to take that off autopilot so that you can be in the driver's seat, so that you can be trained to turn your head and focus where you want, so that you can get in your life what you want. Whether it's losing that weight and getting fit, whether it's having those amazing relationships, whether it's having the career of your dreams, building that life that you want, having the finances that you want, all of it is determined on this turning of the head and being in that driver's seat of what you're focusing on, making those decisions, and what that brain is telling you what it means, okay? So this is how this works. So you ask yourself, so you're in a situation, so whether it's, dieting, let's take dieting. So you're in a situation where you ask yourself a question. If it's on autopilot, because most of the time it has been, on autopilot or not on autopilot, whatever it is, you Google a question into your Google mind, okay? And what happens is that your brain is going to respond quickly, right? Because it wants the A. It's going to respond quickly, but how it responds is it searches, what do I know? What do I know about this? And the answer of the information that it's getting, like I said yesterday, is not necessarily true. It's not necessarily reality. It's what do you personally know? It's gathering from your experiences or judgments. Okay, hear me on this. It's gathering, your answer is coming from your personal experiences or your judgment. So maybe you've had an experience with dieting, and maybe you had an experience with money. Maybe you've had an experience in relationships. We've all had these experiences, right? Maybe you've had judgments about some of them. Maybe you've judged people for being fat, or maybe you've judged people for being too skinny, or maybe you've judged rich people, or maybe you've judged poor people, right? A lot of us have these judgments that have gone out, and all of this has created these experiences that your brain, when it is asked a question, is pulling from. So this is why I tell people all the time, judgment is no joke. Make sure you be careful what you're judging, because you're actually creating material for your brain to answer for your own life. Yikes, right? So we can get a little bit more on that later, but let me stay focused here with you. So when your brain answers you, it's either going to put you in one of two states, okay? There's only two, that you cannot be in them both at the same time. You cannot avoid either one of them. You're in one of them, one or the other, can't do both, can't do none of them, okay? So your answer is going to either put you in what I call a struggling state or a living state. So you ask yourself this question, you're thinking of dieting, and as you're thinking, your brain is processing, what does it know? What has it experienced as far as dieting? What are the answers? All of the information that it's bubbling up, it's going to answer you, and it's going to put you either in a struggling state or a living state. A struggling state is when the answers are what you would naturally consider struggling. It's going to either be judgment, disbelief, self-doubt, lack of confidence, anger, anxiety, stress, overwhelm, all of the common emotions that we know that are so-called negative, that is in the struggling state. Or it's going to put you in the living state. And the living state is where you feel encouraged, where you feel joyful, where you feel motivated, where you feel excited, where you're resourceful, okay? Where you can come up with creative ideas and plans, and you can go forth and create success out of the living state, okay? So you've asked yourself a question, and it's put you in one of the two states. Now, here's the thing. If you are not losing the weight that you want, if you do not have the money that you want, if you do not have the relationship that you want, then you are in the struggling state. Your brain, when you've asked yourself, what does this mean? Or I'm gonna diet, I wanna diet, I wanna lose weight, instantly, subconsciously, your brain has put you in an answer. And if it's not working for you, or you're discouraged, or you have self-doubt, or you are sabotaging yourself, or you don't follow through with the diet, or you don't follow through with the financial plan, it is because you're coming from a struggling state, okay? So your beliefs about that, whether they're from your experiences or whether they're from your judgments, they are putting you in a struggling state. So let's take a deeper look at this, okay? So let's say that you want to diet, right? But you link in your mind, your experience of dieting is that people have told you, maybe women of a certain age, well, just when you're a certain age, you can't look like you're 20 anymore. Or when you hit menopause, the game is over. You're fat from here on out. Good luck, nothing's gonna work. Maybe you've tried a diet or two and didn't stick with it, and now your brain links up, I've tried everything, nothing works, which is not correct, right? Because I'm sure you haven't tried everything. Or maybe you've judged like on the opposite side, where you've met some people who have lost weight and you thought, oh, they look really old now. Or they've lost some weight and they have some sagging skin, or they've lost some weight and they feel really good about themselves, and you're like, who do they think they are? Right? Those are judgments that you've locked in. And now when you go to try to lose weight, it's putting you in this struggling state because your experience, your judgments, your thought process that it's answering with is dieting is bad. Dieting, this is not good. It's bad. You're in menopause. It's never going to work anyway. So why try? If you do lose the weight, you're going to look old. If you do lose the weight, people are going to think you're all haughty and egotistical. Do you see how we've done this to ourselves? All totally false, by the way. Totally not true. I know people who lose weight all the time and look freaking fantastic. They don't look old. They look fantastic. They feel fantastic. Their life is thriving and they're healthy and they have increased their lifespan by a lot of time. They're going to spend time with their grandkids because they are no longer obese. I know women that are like in their 70s, let alone their 82-year-old woman who is totally ripped and stacked and muscular. Screw menopause. That doesn't affect her. She decided, this is what I'm going to do. She decided, and she didn't have limiting beliefs that it was going to stop her and put her in a struggling state. She got herself to a living state where she was resourceful and creative and passionate and energetic and motivated, and she got it freaking done. Okay? Okay. So what about money? So money's another big subject. Money, if you don't have the money that you want. And I know some of you are telling me, Jamie, are you serious? Like, I'm not in shape and I don't have the money I want because of like this? Yeah, I'm totally telling you that. Go with me, stay with me here. I hope that your mind is like starting to realize like what it is that you're thinking about these things and realizing that they're not true, that they're not reality, that they are just from your experiences and they're from possible judgments that you have locked in this Google brain of yours that it wants to answer. It doesn't need to answer correctly. It just wants to answer. Okay, so your money. So maybe you're struggling with finances. You don't have the finances that you want. Okay. What have you thought about money? What is your experience with money? When you were growing up, did you hear money doesn't grow on trees? What makes you think like money's not easy, right? Money's hard. Maybe you heard that rich people are greedy. Maybe you heard that rich people take advantage of people. Maybe you heard that rich people are just about control and materialistic and you can't take that stuff to the grave with you anyway, so what's the point? Right? Like, what is your experience? Or maybe it doesn't do that. Maybe you're in a living thing with money, and God bless you. I hope you have a ton of it. But for most of us who are struggling with money in some shape or form, if you don't have the finances that you want, it's because of your experiences and possible judgments that you have created. And so when you think, I want to pay off debt, why can't I get out of debt? How you have a desire to make an income of $500,000, but like you keep sabotaging yourself and you're not getting there and you don't save money and you spend more than what you make. And you're doing these circles of the looping, as I call it. You're looping around the mountain again. It's because you have linked up that money is painful, that money is arrogant, or money is manipulative, or money isn't necessary, or whatever your experience is, whatever judgments you have thrown out there about money is putting you in a struggling state. Okay. Same thing with relationships. So especially with marriages, this is a big one. So especially with, if you're struggling getting along with your husband, if you don't have a hot, stinking marriage where you are still looking at your man like, my God, he is hot. I want him. I want to have sex with him every single day. I want to spend all my time with him. Like, if you're not having this marriage that when we got married, ladies, let's be honest, we were googly-eyed. We were excited. He was the man of our dreams, floated it on a white horse. If we don't have that type of marriage, right? Or the marriage that you want, if you're not feeling loved, if you feel unappreciated, if you feel like you're the only one that does anything, if you feel that he doesn't support you, if you feel that he's not attracted to you, if you feel that he doesn't love you, all of this, whatever your relationship isn't, okay, I want you to be honest with yourself. What is your part in that? If you don't have it and you're asking yourself, why does he always do this? Right? You want a better marriage, but what is your experience? What is your Google mind? What is your experience focused on? What is your judgments maybe that you've made? Okay. All men are, it's not normally positive when that sentence is answered. all men are X. Why does he always do this? Why am I the only one that does this? Okay, again, don't kill the messenger. But if you don't have the marriage that you have, meaning supportive, loving, encouraging, okay, I know that another person is involved in this marriage. I get that. He's got his own bag of worms, but stick with me here, because if you are entering from a struggling state because you have these negative beliefs, that you have these limiting beliefs that are your focus on all of his faults. You're focused on what he does not do. You are focused on what he told you 10 years ago that hurt your feelings. He said something stupid and now he doesn't love you. Now he doesn't appreciate you. You are focused on all of this stuff that is putting you in an angry, selfish, judgmental state. Okay, some of them might be vile, like real actual problems that need to be dealt with. I'm not denying that. Stick with me here. But if you think that approaching your relationship from a struggling state is going to get you the marriage that you want, it's going to solve your issues, it's going to have you be in a position of solutions, you are wrong. Game over. Might as well call it quits. Okay, stay with me here. Living state. If you can get yourself, we're not talking about him. We're not talking about him. We're not talking about your daughter. We're not talking about your stepchild. We're not talking about your teenager, God help us. We're not talking about your 2-year-old throwing fits. If you, yourself, Susie Q on the other side, okay, if you can get yourself to a living state, where you are open, where you are resourceful, where you are powerful, where you are confident, where you are encouraged and motivated, game over. You know how to now approach this person. You know how to approach this situation. You know how to approach this marriage, this challenge, this issue, this legit problem. You know how to approach this diet. You know how to approach this fitness program. You know how to approach this finances. You are resourceful here in the living state. You can now have solutions and still honor whoever is also involved. If it's a relationship, you can still honor that man that you actually do love. And instead of making the situation worse because you're also coming in at a struggling state, right? And you're leading with things that are not true. You're leading with experiences and judgments that are probably not reality, that are probably false, because there's an actual, usually most of the time in my experience of coaching people, they're like the saying goes, there's what this one thinks and what this one thinks, and then there's the truth. That is truer than true, because people are leading with their struggling state. They're leading with their own judgments. They're leading with their own experiences, which are false most of the time. Okay? They are trying to protect themselves. Their brain is protecting themselves. Their brain is trying to avoid pain at all cost. And they are coming in at it from a struggling state. And they are closed off. They are not resourceful. And they most of the time feel like they're actually accurate. They're deceived that that is reality. It is not. It is not 99% of the time. So here's the fun thing. We are going to get you to know how to start to recognize that you're in the struggling state, no matter what situation it is. And we're going to show you how to get to the living state. Because I know your brain right now is like, okay, how do I get over here? How do I get over here? Because I live here. And I know many people, I used to live here. I used to live in overwhelm. I used to live in stress and confusion and anger. My gosh, I was addicted to anger. I used to live over here. How do we get over here? We are going to teach you that. We're going to teach you that in the next session. For today, though, I really need you to do this assignment. I really need you to do a gut check and go dig deep in your own mind. If you want to do a one-on-one with me, you guys, and I will help you dig through this and I'll help you do clarity on this, absolutely hit me up, make an appointment. We'll do that. But I want you to do one-on-one, you guys. I want you to do this on your own. I want you to get really honest with yourself, and I want you to do a list of what's not working in your life right now. Is your marriage not working? Are you struggling with your kids? Are you struggling with weight loss or fitness? Are you struggling with finances, your career? What is it that you're struggling with intensely right now? What's not working? Okay, and I want you to write that thing down. Make a list of it, and then I want you to take the time on each one, and I want you to write down, what are my experiences with this? What do I think about money? And write them down if they're positive or negative. Right? What do you think about money? What do you think about working out? What do you think about your husband and your marriage? And be honest. You might want to put it away somewhere so you don't hurt someone's feelings if they find it and read it. But be honest with yourself, and so that you can take a look and really look at it and go, wow, like I can see I'm in a struggling state because most of what I think is negative. Most of what I think is negative. Do that as an assignment today, you guys. Be bold, be brave, because we are going to show you how to switch it, how to flip it, how to turn the head. We're going to train you how to turn that head like the race car driver so that you can focus where you want to go, so you can deliver and receive the body, the fitness, the money, the relationship, the skill set, the communication skill sets, whatever it is that you're wanting in your life to achieve whatever goals are what you want to create your life to be. We are going to train you to turn the head, to focus, and to get in that living state with the powerful decision-making, motivating, encouraging skill sets that are going to help you do that. I cannot wait. All right, be honest, be brave, be courageous, beautiful women that you are, and I will see you on the other side.